Library brings in Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey to teach children about literacy. The library apologized, but a promo from the event clearly shows a grown adult in a rainbow monkey costume swinging a phallus between their legs. Ugh. My God. My God. A man dressed in a monkey costume with his butt exposed and a large dildo hanging between his legs. What part of an event to encourage kids to read? The Red Ridge Library's Summer Reading Challenge left parents confused and outraged after the libraries. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time reading this. The Red Ridge Library's Summer Reading Challenge left parents confused and outraged after the Rainbow Monkey man in a butler suit was brought in to promote literacy in a summer reading challenge to kids. The dildo swinging freely from his genital area. A clip of promotion could be found online. A man in a butler's rainbow monkey costume with a large dildo between his legs danced to promote literacy for kids outside Rainbridge Library in East London, England. Coming to a city near you. Fishes. Ugh. What in the heck does this have to do with teaching kids?
You are having an absolutely gorgeous Monday. I am very excited to be here with the lovely people at
We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
At first I didn't get why you'd be so scared of us turning your children into accepting, caring people, but I see now why you'd have a problem with that.
Just like you worried, they'll change their group of friends. You won't approve of where they go.
This don't have nothing to do with no children. This is an agenda. I don't care what nobody say. I am not homophobic. I am not against the LGBTQIA community whatsoever. This is an agenda. This don't have nothing. This is sexualization of children, period. 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 This has nothing to do with children. Prepubescent children don't need to be exposed to any of this. The article continues going on stating someone needs to lose their job over this, one parent said, while another one was shocked, saying this is unbelievable. Have we completely lost our moral compass as a society? The library did apologize, but not after photos and a video emerged online showing the furry pornographic creature in the library dancing around. Let the rainbow dildo bump monkey teach your kids. Big it. In the photo, the man can be seen exposing his butt while seemingly twerking on a bench. Can a word capture the spirit of an age? Image certainly can. In future, when we can think back on a Zenithist of 2021, we can remember Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey and wonder how on earth we descended to thinking that this was suitable entertainment for children. I have a 8-year-old girl. I don't care if it was a princess that had extra large breasts out and a fat vajayjay with all blue on with a cross that had, and it was all representing Christianity or Buddhism. I don't care what it was. Anything promoting sexualization of a child, I'm against. Period. Point blank. End of story. Can a word capture the spirit of an age? Images certainly can. In future, when we think back on a Zenithist of 2021, when we remember the time where we are all going to hell in a handbasket, we may remember Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey and wonder how on earth we descended to thinking that this was suitable entertainment for children. And look at this. Only a year ago, we saw a little girl visibly traumatized, being forced to watch a drag act, crawling, creeping towards her as adults laughed and whistled. Y'all remember this? I can't. I'm having a hard time with this video. I don't see. I don't see. What does this have to do? How is this? The library apologized came shortly after the backlash erupted online. They wrote that during an event put on at the library today, there was performance by the Carnival Arts Company. Unfortunately, one of the animal costumes was inappropriate, which we are not aware of at the time of the booking. We deeply apologize for the offense caused. This is being looked into. Okay. Now, these are the other statements. Redbridge Library said, during an event put on at the library today, there was a performance by the Carnival Arts Company. Unfortunately, one of the animals' costumes was inappropriate, where we were not aware of it at the time of booking. We deeply apologize for the offense caused. This is being looked into. Okay, 2:38 p.m., July 10th, 2021. Redbridge Libraries went on to say that a statement would be made and that it would never happen again. They had to be aware of this. Redbridge Libraries also stated, and a further statement will be made, this event was arranged by Vision and not Redbridge Council. Upon receiving complaints passed on by the leader and the deputy leader, we ceased the performances and are truly apologetic for the distress caused to the residents. This will never happen again. July 10th, 2021. However, when they promoted the event, they were shameless about it. They said that the Medicine Monkey made a visit to the Godmam's library among the Royal Strawberry Flamboyant Frog, and that these characters would soon head your way. Another library commented on the post saying that it was a shock when the monkey turned around, to which the Redbridge Library replied, even more shockingly, I know the monkey's out of control, with a laughing emoji, but when you've got it, flaunt it, I suppose. The reading challenge was for kids ages 4 through 14. As you can see here. The arts group, Mandarin's Arts, also apologized, saying that they apologize for the offense caused while raising awareness of the reading campaign by Redbridge Libraries on July 10th. We never intended to offend residents. I would have been at the police department trying to get people freaking arrested. Like, I would have probably ended up in jail trying to get motherfuckers arrested. Like, straight sexual assault. You can't remove images like that out of a child's mind. Prepubescent children, right? I'm just trying to get, let me try to read through this. The art group Mandinga Arts also apologized, saying that they apologize for the offense caused while raising awareness of the reading campaign by Redbridge Library on the 10th of July. We never intended to offend residents, they said, of the man in the monkey costume who swung his dildo around both inside the library and outside as the part of the promotion. We respect everyone's individual opinion with no offense to any part. Actions are being taken. More information to follow. We apologize for the offense caused while raising awareness of reading campaign by the Redbridge Library on the 10th of July. We never intended to offend. Residents, we respect everyone's individual opinion with no offense to any part. Actions are being taken, more information to follow. The arts group lists themselves on which creates extraordinary and innovative outdoor costumes, floats, and processions drawing on European, Latin American, and African traditions on Monday. Their websites appear to be down below. The promo for the event clearly showed a grown adult in a rainbow monkey costume with a swinging phallus between their legs. It seems clear that everyone involved in planning the event knew full well that a man in a buttless rainbow monkey costume would be employed to swing his phallus around to help promote children literacy. The library also featured a drag queen story hour event earlier this year. I would really love a detailed breakdown of the commissioning process whereby Red Ridge Council commissioned the rainbow dildo butt monkey as a means to teach children to read. Mama G, inclusive story time for the LGBT. The launch day of Red Ridge Storytime Challenge was July 10th. Do you love reading? Are you the ages between 4 through 11 years old? Why not trying out the Summer Reading Challenge? Taking place on Saturday, the 10th of July. Check our YouTube videos and find out more. Yeah.
So you don't. So it's okay. I just want to be clear with you. It's okay. It's okay for a man to go into the women's section, show his penis around the other women, young little girls underage. Your spa, we spa, condone that. Is that what you're saying? Like I asked. It's so he can stay there. He can stay there. What sexual orientation? I see a dick. It lets me know he's a man. He's a man. He is a man. He is not no female. He is not a female. He is not a female. Hold on. He is not a female, sweetie. Okay, girls down there, other women who are highly offended for what they just saw, and you did nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, you sided with him. So We Spa is in agreement with men that just say they are a woman and they can go down there with their penis and get into the women's section. Is that what you're saying? What really? What law? What law? So women can go into the men's with their breasts. Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't come back either. Yeah, get your money back. You got a man with his penis talking about he's a woman. He ain't no woman. Yeah, give her money back. Are you talking about a transgender person? There's no such thing as transgender. He has a dick. Okay? He has a penis. His penis is hanging out. Okay, no, I'm not one. Actually, I'm a woman who knows how to stand up and speak up for my right. As a woman, I have a right to feel comfortable without a man exposing himself. Okay? No, you go somewhere else. Okay, so that's right. No, he's not a transgender. He has a penis, just like you do. Are you? No. Yeah. Okay, it's not okay. It's not okay. Okay, that's traumatizing to see that. I'm a woman. I think this is a place right here. I'm told only for women. So how dare you sit up here and tell me I don't have a right as a woman to defend? I'm telling you, he has a penis. A full and testicle, okay? And I don't care what it's called. It's a man. You got one? You're a man. Okay.
And if we went into the men's section with our anatomy, that would be...
Well, it would probably, but you might not like women, so it might not, okay? And we don't know, but for me and for a lot of other women, they do not feel comfortable, and it's not okay. Okay? So, well, yeah, you're sorry. You should be, sweetie, and you're out of alignment, and this is not right. I can tell you that much, all right? And I know you're out of order. Yeah, it must be hard. It must be hard not being a real man, huh? Try it. So, like I said, I want every woman get all of their information. Okay, well, I don't care what the security guard. He's just security.
I'm telling you,
yeah.
Sometimes predators go down and will just go through the women's section.
Okay, well, no, he's sitting in there. Okay, well, security.
No. He doesn't want to be.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying he should have not been allowed to. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. We know that.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
so,
we knew that.
He's a man with a penis.
But if they identify
He's a man. I don't care. So men can just say, I'm a woman today and I want to come in. And I'm recording this. I am going to record this because I'm going to make a big deal. I'm going to take this very worldwide and what's happening because, right. And then what about women's rights?
No.
Little girls, women.
And now we can't shower. We can't go down there to shower. We can't go get our clothes.
If you feel uncomfortable about it, we can find your return.
Oh, so now we have to leave.
If you feel uncomfortable, because we cannot discriminate against gender
How?
identity.
But then why do you have men's section and women's section?
Gender identity, if they identify as female, they let us know.
Tell me what makes you a female. Exactly.
I understand that.
No,
I understand that.
no, we're not going for that.
Ma'am, what I can tell you, I work here, and I'm letting you know, we cannot discriminate against gender identity.
Okay, so if I want to go on the boy side and say I'm a boy, it's okay. I'm just
Is that okay?
If you identify yourself,
So I'm a man and I can walk in there?
if you identify yourself as male, I can.
So I can tell you, so we can lie. Okay, I'm white. I'm white. Is that okay? I'm white. I'm a white woman. Am I gonna get super special treatment? I'm a white woman. No, you're telling me a person you can look at a person, see their penis, know that they are a man. And if he says I'm a woman, he can go in the women's section.
But it's identify as female.
I just said to you, so you're
asking whether he identifies himself as.
No, yes. They let us know that they identify as female. And they let us know.
Oh, so he lets you know that he think he's a girl, and he wants to go there with the girl.
Well, I mean, I wasn't on duty, but
So someone like just gave him permission to go because he said that he identifies as a
permission.
female.
It's just we can't discriminate against gender identity.
But the sign says that if you're male, that they're going to prosecute to the fullest extent. So
Yeah, we're about
if
to
he
do
comes
that.
in with testicles and a penis, and there's a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old that's never seen a penis before.
That traumatized me to see that.
We are women.
Yes.
And that traumatized us.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying we're older women. We're not little girls.
Right.
And we're here to protect the little girls. And if that means that we need to do something, we're here to protect the little girls because it's not okay.
It's not. It's not okay. Who's your manager?
That's not okay.
You're the manager. I want your when I come up, I want your corporate headquarters. I want to talk to the head honcho. Please don't make me dig for this person because I can't.
We only have one number that I can provide you, and it'll go to all of us.
Okay, so this is not okay.
I do understand. I do understand that you guys are very uncomfortable for the situation.
No, we're concerned about women's safety.
And rights.
We're concerned about a 9-year-old girl's safety when a 30-year-old man with a penis and testicles
Yes.
is getting into the jacuzzi.
Yes.
It's close.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah,
and
pervert.
As a 9-year-old, that's not okay with me.
It's not okay
and
with
I
me?
will protect
Yes.
little girls until
Yes.
my last breath.
Yes.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
You cannot have me out here saying that I'm the one causing an inconvenience.
Exactly.
to a little girl. And it's not okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. And now I can't even go and put my clothes on because he's down there.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable. We don't feel comfortable.
Doesn't do anything to
His dick is out. Yeah, his dick is swinging left and right, and we're women in there, and young girls are there. And it says women. That's the women's section. There's the men's section. And you allow that. So then you're lying.
We cannot discriminate against gender identity.
It's not discrimination. It's an imposter. You cannot identify an imposter, someone faking to be a woman just because they feel like they want to call themselves a woman.
Whether they are pre-op or after.
Pre-on, I don't give a listen, lady. Okay, listen. Please stop trying to get me to understand you.
I'm just letting you know our situation. I understand your
Okay, well, you guys gonna have a situation. You gonna have a situation. You gonna have a situation. You gonna have a situation. The blood of Jesus. You gonna have a situation. There's going to be a situation. I'm up here at the Wee Spa, and a man, okay, comes in slinging his penis. I almost want to fall out. I couldn't believe what I saw. I couldn't believe that this man, okay, and these people up here, and you got some women scared to say something. Baby, I'm not scared to say a thing. The blood of Jesus against this wilding out lion spirit. Sit up here. Gonna let a man come in here slinging his penis up in here. No. You best believe I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something all right. Sit up here. Like this stuff is okay. He needs to get up out of here. I know. So since somebody can come in here and say, oh, I'm a man, and because I'm a man, I can go into the men's section. Or you can come in here and say, I'm a woman, but you're really a man with a penis. Or let's just say you have a dick and testicles. And they're going to let you come in here. You got children, young girls here with their mom. And Jesus help me. Jesus, these people, they about to find out though. Watch.
They're putting it on our culture. They're putting it everywhere. Gay stuff is everywhere, you know.
Are seen by society. It's been humor that's led us all this way. I mean, like when people say black people don't like gay people, black people are jealous of gay people. That it took hundreds of years, people dying and being lynched and choked and dogs set on a water hose, and then finally things started to change. Ellen, Glee, and Will and Grace started to change stuff almost immediately. So it feels like their ascent was not as turbulent as ours. Not to disrespect that, but it just seems like ours was fraught with a little more.
And I think they're just trying to do it to make a monetary gain. You know, they're not doing it for the gays. They're not really fans of the gays. They're doing it for monetary gain, man. They're trying to make money off these people, man. You know, you got cartoons they have gays on cartoons. Like, these are kids. Let kids make their own decision if they want to go that way.
Dangerous. So I think it's not hate it's jealousy. I think people they just think, damn, I wish it would have been as easy for us.
Well, I mean, Ellen is a lesbian, and she definitely reached especially with her show, she reached a pretty high level. But I don't know of any male gay comedians.
No, I'm not talking
of that caliber.
No, not that. People's ability to laugh and be entertained, and to see themselves, and so I think that nobody's done that for anything like comedy has. Whether it's somebody doing it from a stage or somebody doing it from a television show or a movie, no one's done it like that or been able to kind of give the aspirin and orange juice, something you need with something you like comedy, like humor. I mean, the root of humor is and I think it's human, and it's how we relate to each other. And I think that I think comedy has led the way to us becoming more human.
Think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep him from disco, warn about San Francisco, make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children, we'll make them tolerant and fair.
Often in the black community find ourselves in this weird juxtaposition of, yes, be free, love who you want to love, do what you want to do, but the purpose of a population that is already endangered is to further that population. It's a tough one.
Absolutely. And we got to understand that, again, I'm working on a movie called BuckBreaking, talking about the buck-breaking of black males in black society. And that's what they're doing now. And this goes back to the...
Buck-breaking is a show of power, is a show of dominance. So we can't talk about buck-breaking without talking about power.
When we look at the domination of black people by the dominant society, what we are in essence seeing is that this society wants to ensure that we are not able to actually mete out that thing that makes humans exist. And that is creating families and procreating.
See, psychologically, when we're talking about the sexualizing of our people, primarily from the dominant society or the system of white supremacy, it had to be established in a very impinging way from the mental state.
This whole notion that masculinity is somehow toxic and detrimental to society is nothing but an attempt to emasculate black malehood.
It's clearly an agenda. If you have two eyes in your head and you're able to see, you can see that it's an agenda, and it's an agenda to decrease our population.
It's always been about destroying the black family. The family is the foundation of a people.
The heterosexual black male is last on the pecking order here in America. If you're just a heterosexual black man, how are you gonna beat the case? Because when you show up to court, when you show up to the job interview, when you show up to wherever,
that's still denial. You have sex with transgenders because you're gay. Like, it's not that you're gay. You like penis, bro. Like, it's not like, like, I think it's kind of like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of thing. Like, you feel like you're trying to still feel like
still a woman.
Yeah, like, nah, bro. You like penis, bro. You're gay. Like,
plantation, they've always understood, the white supremacists, if we need to control these people, we have to control them sexually, and we have to break the spirit of the males. During slavery, the white slave owners would rape black men on a regular basis.
Wow.
Especially in places like Louisiana, even in Jamaica, where those slave breaking farms.
They don't play that down there.
That's why in Jamaica they're so against that now.
They're super against
They're super
homosexuality
against it because it was used as a tool during slavery. And even now, we're told that we have to not be more masculine. Black people we have toxic masculinity. I don't see that term being applied to white boys at all. Whenever I hear that toxic masculine, I haven't heard that.
Harvey Weinstein,
Harvey Weinstein out here living his best damn life right now. He ain't that toxic. He's out here chilling and getting his charges dropped. So they'll talk that.
Like penis, bro, you're gay. Like,
I mean, you made comments about Dwayne Wade's son.
Yeah, it's not like I don't like to talk about kids. Like I don't really talk about kids. It just to
me, and I kind of we reported on it, but it's like, man, this is a 13-year-old kid.
No, 12.
12?
And then 12-year-old. See the thing, I felt my son is 12, so I'm just looking. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna enable. I just don't see my 12-year-old son coming home and wanting to be a girl. Like,
how many kids do you have?
I have 5 kids.
5 kids.
4 daughters.
Okay, there is statistically a chance that one of them will end up gay.
Just a game, but the ones going to jail are the black ones.
Right.
And that toxic masculinity stuff is beaten on us. We're told that the black community is so homophobic and they're trying to browbeat us into going along with them coming up with ways to break us sexually. And I tell people all the time, the white LGBT community tries to compare their struggle with the black struggle. There is no comparison. That's a very disrespectful thing to say because black people have always been targeted by the white LGBT community because they practice the same white supremacy as the dominant society. J. Edgar Hoover was LGBT. Never forget that. That man targeted black society.
Facts.
You understand? So we look at Ed Buck, who they just arrested after bringing out how many bodies in his house. They let that man sit up there and kill all types of black people.
Right.
And they're still talking about they might drop his.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on children of gay parents to please their parents, to sort of carry the banner forward for them. And you can read about this, not just in conservative publications, but even books like Families Like Mine, which was publicized by a pro-gay marriage daughter of gays, and she admitted, and several of the kids in that book admitted, that it's very difficult to be honest about this because of the political pressure surrounding this topic. There's several children that have contacted me even since I started writing about this saying, I agree with you, but I'll never come out and speak about this publicly because my relationship with my parent is too tenuous.
You coming in here as a heterosexual black man, you have no power.
When Mark Twain confessed that we white people ground the manhood out of the Negro. Why ground the manhood out of the Negro? Because it's black masculinity that most exposes the fraud of white masculinity.
We, as the progenitors of culture, the ones who are the fathers and mothers of civilizations, who taught all people, who people look to for social cues, whether they want to realize it or not, I think they feel if they can get us to adapt to it, they can get everybody to.
And at the same time, it's like, to me, the image of the black man is like they're trying to make that the black image. Like when you think of black men, you just think of these feminine like figures now. It's like they taking the legacy or like the image of the strong black man and replacing it with the feminine black man.
Adapt to it.
If anybody should have a problem with European males, it should be the European female. Because everything the European male has ever learned to do to us, he first practiced on his own woman.
We need resources in education. We need resources in labor. We need resources in politics. We need resources in medical. We need resources in so many things, but they ignore that and they put millions and even billions of dollars to tell us that you need to really embrace your LGBT side. So these people have an agenda, and it's up to us to understand what the agenda is.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
American boy. He looks like an all-American boy for sure. And he's just like a flower in bloom. He's at that perfect stage in which he is hermaphroditic. That is to say, he is neither all male nor all female. Not that anybody is, of course. Everybody is some mixture of those two characteristics, but he is at the moment in that wonderful limbo between being a child and being an adolescent. That is, he is certainly an adolescent at this point, but he still has this kind of soft, feminine grace about him.
We knew he was kind of weird. Like, we was walking up, and Michael thought he knew him. He was coming through, he was walking at my house. And Michael thought he knew him, but he didn't. He said, well, y'all want to ride? We said, yeah. And so we started going up the hill.
Mike was 12, I believe, and Anthony 13 when I was driving along the road in West Virginia, and Mike flagged me down to give them a ride. And the wonderful thing about it was that there was no fuss at all. They both went out of their way to flirt in their own way with me, just with joyfulness. I mean, just to say, here's the play of life going on, and here is something that's not seen by others, but seen and appreciated by me and the people who are participating. We're having a little play together, a little game.
Were you ever in love?
No, because I don't think, I've never felt that I would be free to express any feelings that I had towards anybody.
I became sexually active when I was 8, but that was with younger boys. The first boy that I went with was 7. At the time, we were best friends. And that went on for 2 years. I didn't have any relationships with an adult until I was 10.
I love them.
What is in boys that you love?
I don't know. It's just I have all my life been attracted to younger boys. I go back from the time I was about 8 years old. I could say I wanted a little brother, and I've always just been interested in little boys.
I was flabbergasted like anybody else, but hearing this shocking type of ideas. And I investigated a little further, and I found out that lo and behold, this idea wasn't that bad as they seemed to be from far away. And so, and then all of a sudden, all my childhood memory came back to me, and I saw myself doing those acts with other children, and I thought that they were decent acts. I thought they were wholesome acts. I certainly enjoy myself, and I thought we had lots of fun, and I thought of those times with fondness.
As far as what actually happened, I thought I was talking him into it, but later I discovered that he enjoyed it a lot more than I expected, because I had been convinced by people that kids that size aren't sexual, and myself, I really didn't have a lot of strong sexual feelings at 10, but this particular person enjoyed this quite a lot, it turned out.
How did it go? Well, I knew he was gay. He was one of my karate instructors, and I came on to him, and I knew what I was doing. I was fully aware of what I was doing. But I was very attracted to him at the time.
You felt you had the power in the relationship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt very empowered by the relationship. I felt that I controlled the relationship. Which is a good thing for a kid, I think. Mm-hmm. And that also, tends to dispel the belief that, that adults are always the ones in power in such relationships. I let him around. I was the one in power.
I'm definitely not out as far as being public about it. There are close friends of mine who know, people I've known for years and know me well know. But as far as being out with acquaintances and companions that I have on a daily basis, I'm definitely not.
What we do know is that nobody chooses their sexual orientation, that people discover what's appealing to them. They don't decide what's appealing to them. What they have more choice or decision about is how they deal with such desires, whether they pursue them or not, or try to inhibit them, or what their attitudes are towards them.
I've been picked up where I worked. I've been picked up on the street. I've been called up on the telephone and asked to come in.
How many times have you been in prison?
Huh?
How many times?
I've been in prison twice. Really, I just don't try. I try to avoid boys.
How do you do it?
Just avoid them.
And sometimes you can't.
Sometimes I can't, right? But pretty much I do. Just live by myself and to myself.
And you're willing to sit in jail for your passion?
I don't have a choice.
I hadn't done anything. I'd never done anything, but I'd always heard things on the news and everything saying that anybody who liked boys sexually would be a monster and would kill these kids or would do these horrible things. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stop myself from doing that. And so I had a war with myself for about 6 years. I went to therapy in many different places around the country, and finally I started realizing that they weren't being genuine with me. They really duped me. I was very well indoctrinated into the system.
I knew it was kind of risky that the FBI could have my name on a list or something, but the way I was getting so sick of the way things were going, it was worth the risk.
The North American Man-Boy Love Association was formed in 1979 as a support group for men who are sexually attracted to boys. Over the years, its membership grew from 24 to 1,500 members. During the day, Bob is a government lawyer. In the evenings, he manages the NAMBLA's national office.
The standard line is it's a political and educational organization. Most of what we do is print a bulletin. Bill is the editor of the bulletin. This is for the person who handles the prisoner mailing. That is, we send out free subscriptions to those prisoners who are able to receive them, which is probably about half the people that want them. Most of the prisons in the West, for instance, won't take our bulletin, but they won't take any gay publication.
Substituted work with NAMBLA for actually seeking out relationships with boys or having relationships with boys. Being very active with NAMBLA and having sort of a public profile, it would be suicidal to actually have a sexual relationship, an illegal sexual relationship with a boy in this society right now.
This is a person who's writing us for about the third time. He's either desperate or very, very pushy. Dear NAMBLA, I wrote your organization earlier this month requesting information on purchasing videotapes, magazines, and other materials, but all I got was political information, which is okay, but way too much, and information on novels, which would take 2 months before I'd even get them. I thought you wanted new members and supporters, and I also thought NAMBLA was supposed to help us boy lovers to get what we couldn't get in other places, materials. We have a standard letter that we send. Dear friend, please be advised that police and postal inspectors from this and other countries make a living by entrapping boy lovers who are desperate for the kind of materials you inquire about it, etc., etc. I mean, there's no other position we can take. It's difficult to know whether these inquirers are genuine or police agents or both. Probably there's a mixture, and a lot of them are just desperate and rather ignorant.
Yeah, red knots on it.
I don't know if I could be able to do it with you.
Oh, Peter.
How many of the boys for whom they were then in prison came to visit the prisoner who had supposedly molested them as an expression of their affection for the person with whom they had a loving and consensual relationship.
Thank you for taking that moral and beating it over the head into the opportunity to stage orgies has not yet occurred. And probably NAMBLA won't be around when it becomes possible to do so.
This is the poet Allen Ginsberg.
Sweet boy, give me your ass. Let me kiss your face, lick your neck, touch your lips. Tongue, tickle tongue end, nose to nose. Quiet question. Ever slept with a man before?
In Europe, since the late 50s, support groups for pedophiles have been popping up to actively fight the age of consent laws. The Dutch have established the most liberal consent laws in the world. The official age of consent in the Netherlands is 16, yet adults are not prosecuted for engaging in sexual relations with a child above the age of 12, as long as the child's parents and a social worker approve.
How many high schools are there around here?
Oh, there's Clinton, there's Bronx Science, and then beyond there is another high school, all within about 5-10 minutes walk of each other. This is very familiar. I moved here so that I would have a minimum of traveling time and could devote most of my time to work. Oh, this brings back memories. This seems to be a problem on whether sex education should occur in the schools, and somehow it's not a problem in other countries. When I taught in Scotland, it was part of the science course. I like teaching because I like boys. And as I said before, liking boys doesn't mean that you want to have sex with them. Okay, it's much broader than that.
I don't know, I kind of think it's a disgrace, but then again, we never know who else. I mean, we never know if other teachers are like KKK members and stuff. So, I mean, we don't know about their past, and just because we know about one, you know? So, I mean, I think it's his business, but still, it's kind of disgusting. He works in a school with kids, and he's like a child molester. But that's my opinion.
Don't you think it's a matter of concern to parents that someone who teaches their children would spend hours with them every day believes that what we consider child molesting should be legalized?
I'm busy. You're interrupting my routine. I'm going shopping. Thank you very much.
News 4 has learned that the Board of Education, the Inspector General's office, and even a former principal here at the Bronx High School of Science have known about Meltzer's NAMBLA affiliation.
But he shouldn't be teaching. Why not? Because he molested 12-year-olds.
How do you know?
They said it on TV.
Parents that someone who teaches their children would spend hours with them every day believes that what we consider child molesting.
If you cannot judge a person by what he does, when he does it, but only by his thoughts, and by his private activities, then you can't hire anybody. There'll be no one left to do anything. Well, one can't be angry at that. One can only say that it's sad that at least the current society's mentality is such that this kind of argument works.
The whole thing about Mr. Meltzer is much ado about nothing. It's a load of crap. He didn't do anything. He's not an active pedophile as far as we know, and there's really no point in persecuting him for it. If he believes in a concept, then you can't persecute him for that. That's in your head. Then we might as well start persecuting everyone else, who has concepts we don't agree with.
Dear Mr. Meltzer, please be advised that effective immediately, you're not to enter the Bronx High School of Science until further notice. Should you have any questions relative to these instructions, this kind of notice really hurts. And when I can look out my window and see the school, and it's like Moses looking across to the promised land.
Leland has graduate degrees in law and philosophy. He has been a Mormon representative in Texas and a missionary in Hong Kong. In India, he photographed child pornography and was put in a California prison for 5 years. He is driving to his cabin retreat in the mountains of West Virginia.
Rachel, can I give you a little of this?
No.
Just a little bit.
No. Keep them plenty of it.
What would you have for dinner, though? I mean, you better have some of this for your dinner, because we're...
He was a special friend, made friends with everybody.
This is true.
He took me to get my apples at the orchard, and we went on down to see the canaries, and then to see the birds, the ducks.
In general, there are lots of boys that precisely want to do that. That is what they want to do. They make it clear, and they simply do it. They don't... That is to give a blowjob. That's what to give head, as the saying goes. That's what they want to do, and they do it. That is, this boy simply did it in a magnificently gentle, tender sort of way, in which you could sense he was putting his whole heart and life into this experience. That is what was so exceptional about it, and it produced a remarkable sensation, and I may say a rather speedy climax, in spite of the fact that it was being done in such a gentle way.
What is the fantasy? What the thoughts come into your mind in such a time?
Curiously, the most powerful feelings that are evoked are religious feelings. I want to sing praises to the Almighty for having created anything so beautiful, so spectacularly wonderful. This is what is going on in me.
Anthony sat down next to me, and Leland was sitting there staring at Anthony. And that gave me the creeps. I mean, he was just staring, looking at him like he was a piece of meat, up and down, because Anthony just had a pair of shorts on.
He kept making excuses to pull up his shirt and show me his belly in a highly flirtatious way, to any ordinary boy lover such as myself, a very exciting and appealing way.
Our 12-year-old boy went out and met him, and he shook his hand, and we didn't think anything of it, but Jacob had to pull his hand away before Leland released his grip. My feeling is that he was feeling Jacob out, to see if Jacob was accepting to that kind of behavior.
He had picked up my son and a friend of his, and they were walking from my house to his friend's house, and he just picked them up, stopped, pulled over, asked them if they wanted a ride, and they accepted.
He's asking us questions like all kinds of stupid questions, and every time we'd say something to him, he'd take out his paper and write it down.
Mike, on one occasion, and Anthony on another, flirted with me, I thought, in a very flagrant but wonderful way. By flagrant, I mean they made it completely obvious that they were flirting in a sexual way or talking in a sexual way, because this was their nature, because they were having a good time, because they understood that someone appreciated this aspect of their life, of their being.
This is so hard to talk about. The thought of him living and waiting, for your child, waiting for you. Maybe what if you got mad at your kid because he did something, you grounded him, so here he is, he's feeling bad, and here comes along Leland Stevenson to go, oh, poor Michael, and I think that's how they work. They prey on these children and how they can stand up and tell people what they believe in, and that there's nothing that you can do about it. I don't understand our judicial system, that's for sure.
There's another bake. Food Center, sandwiches and catering. Okay.
A little bit, yeah, certainly something. Well, there's, I don't see too much.
Looks big, bakery-esque in there for sure.
Somebody can call you out?
That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Go. Get up.
So what happened?
What? Phone ring.
Oh, you made the phone ring. Oh, well, let's see how you did that.
Oh, jeez. You're just text record. No, you can get trouble for doing that.
No.
Do this again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, not bad.
You answer it.
Hey, how can I get the secret?
Dial 660. There you go. Cool.
660, and the rest of it?
The last 4 digits of that phone number.
Of that phone. 660 plus the last 4 digits of that phone, and that'll do it.
Yep. Yeah, which
Very
can't
good.
give anybody else.
Oh, goodness, okay.
Don't do it to the phone.
That'll be our secret then.
No, that's on radio.
He was so eager to tell me when his birthday was, and he was going to be 15 in less than a month on the 1st of December. And this is what life is about. This is what real life is about. I would say that he was in bloom, and that's it. The flower is responding to warmth. That is, I as a human being am bathing him in a certain kind of celestial warmth. And he feels that, and he responds to that, and he thinks, oh, how nice, how wonderful. There's someone there who is appreciating what I am and who I am.
With Jason, my first aim would be to get a feeling for his psychological space, which I may say I did. While I was talking to him, while I was with him, I was attempting to evaluate the degree to which he is neurotic.
Most of the persons that I've worked with who have offended against children, I didn't feel did this with any kind of malicious intent at all. I think some of them didn't see this developing. They were drawn into the relationships in ways they didn't recognize themselves. I saw others who genuinely fell in love with the child. It was really a romantic attachment. I think few of them behave this way simply for sexual activity.
I was walking along the beach on one occasion and met a boy in his early teens who was friendly, open, appealing, and who was very responsive to my friendship. That is, not only was his space open, he wanted it to be.
Paul is calling the future. His bravery is inspiring so many. We're going to talk to him in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at his amazing story.
I am Desmond. I'm 11 years old, and I like pizza, trains, and drinking root beer since it's caffeine-free. I also do drag, and I love to put on makeup, dresses, and wigs, and of course, jewelry if necessary. My full drag name is Desmond is Amazing. I feel very happy to have a mom that accepts me.
It really touches me deeply that there are other children out there that he's reaching and they're listening to him and he's influencing them to be themselves.
I'm very proud of him. I'm proud that he's found his path so early.
My greatest joy in this is just seeing Desmond happy.
I love doing drag because it makes me feel amazing and self-expressive. It just feels amazing to know that people love what I do.
How you doing?
Thanks for being here. I love that you love root beer, caffeine free.
I can get on board with that.
My mom doesn't like me drinking caffeine.
Does it make you hyper? Yeah, me too. They don't like when I drink caffeine either. But Desmond, you're one of the youngest and first drag queen/kids. And I've heard that you've gotten messages from young adults who look up to you for being who you are. What are some of the notes you've gotten?
Some of the notes I've gotten are like that you inspire me very much.
You put on a child.
I think it's the reason that we evolve. I do.
Comedy is the reason why we evolve.
Oh, absolutely. I think that is the reason we evolve. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's interesting. I mean, because if you look at, like, for example, even historically, like with the court jester, he was the only one that was able to tell the king the truth without facing, facing execution.
Amos and Andy, if you look at the longest laugh spread in recorded history, is All in the Family. Sammy Davis Jr. when he kissed Carol O'Connor. The longest laugh spread in history. The longest laugh spread. In other words, people laugh for so long because this white man kissed this that black dude kissed this white man. The longest laughing. We've evolved in fits and starts. The whole 70s, the whole 80s. All these stories told in a humorous manner.
Whose mind is not developed to think for themselves anyway at that age. That shouldn't be put on a child. And it's going to show in the world. You're going to have, I say in 10 years, you're going to have damn near half the population gay. Because of what they put on TV. It's because how they forcing it. They forcing it. Your favorite TV shows, they're forcing it on these people.
They're not born transgender. Children suffering from gender dysphoria should not be encouraged to try experimental hormones and surgery, and I stand by that statement. The American Psychiatric Association describes gender dysphoria as a conflict between a person's physical gender and the gender with which they identify. But I have found gender dysphoria does not adequately acknowledge the deeper comorbid issues like body dysmorphia, depression, obsessive-compulsive behavior, and many more that make this more than a conflict between one's physical gender and the one they wish to identify as. Gender dysphoria is a generalization of discomfort, and it lacks the specificity in pointing to those underlying causes.
And I wish I could have had the support that you have when I was a child.
And your parents, we saw your parents in the piece that we did, and your parents are so supportive of you, but they've encouraged you to stay and be who you are. So how has that inspired you to be open about dressing in drag?
They support me by letting me do what I want to do and letting me dress up and letting me play with makeup and trains. And yeah, I really like trains. When I'm out of drag, most of the time I'm playing with trains.
It's a tough world out there, and not everyone's accepting of things, and some people have criticized you. What do you say to them?
It's fine.
Well, we're all excited to have Desmond here, so thank you, Desmond. But we also have some people that wanted to come see you personally. So please welcome Head of Lettuce.
How are you?
Thank you for having me on.
And we've got Chanel. Please come out.
Hello, Chanel. Go.
And we can't forget Alyssa Edwards.
How are you? Hello. How are you? See you.
And good morning to you.
How cool is
Good
this?
morning, America.
Expecting this.
Shocked. Happily shocked.
So for you three, when you see Desmond, what comes to mind? What do you think about?
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Brave, courageous. I wish, because I started doing drag at 15 years old, and obviously not 11, but I wish, even at that age, that I could have had the courage that you have to do what you do and literally take the art and put it in mainstream America. Wow. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Yeah. You're the future of drag, so you have a lot to live up to.
And I think it's also awesome that you are blessed with parents that love and support you unconditionally.
Tom Reeves was the founder of NAMBLA. They have a story that needs to be heard.
I'm the queerest of the queer. At the age of 14, I was thrown down 2 flights of stairs by the entire football team in my high school because I was a fag. Tonight, I feel, during the first part of this program, I was thrown down those stairs again. I've been thrown down those stairs over and over, and worse. I love boys, and boys love me. I ask you tonight, please don't leave. Some people already have been. Please hear us. Give us the space we never have. Why are we attacking each other? Why are we attacking, some people attacking transgender people, a most difficult situation? Why are we being attacked? I believe that like liberation, hatred is indivisible. It comes from the same place as homophobia, erotophobia, racism, and all of those hatreds I've seen. I see that same hatred, that same viciousness in the faces of those who scream at me and throw me down those stairs now for loving boys. We're here tonight to support lesbians, to support public sex, to support prostitution, to support gay men, to support transgender people, to support transsexuals, and drag queens, and S&M, because we believe in choice and freedom and liberation. We ask you, please, hear us out at least. Many of us come here tonight directly from prison. I mean directly. Some of us come here tonight from suicide attempts, from burnings, and threats to be killed. Some of us in this room tonight must wear literally a scarlet letter from the state of Washington and other places. We come, there are 10,000 men in prison today for sex with boys, at least 10,000. Of those 10,000, 90% are there for consensual sex with boys over the age of 12. We are talking about youth and men together, exploring ourselves, learning about sexuality, learning about consent. Yes, consent's important. Consent's important in politics and religion. It's no different than sex, unless you are afraid of sex, unless sex somehow worries you. Tonight I ask you, please don't prejudge us at our sexuality based on what is said by the media, the government, the police, the psychiatrists, the social workers. Somehow I don't think they describe you very well. Please let us tell you who we are.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate this opportunity to speak today with this distinguished panel. I'm not a PhD, I'm not a doctor, but I want to put a human face on the destructive side of becoming a transgender, as I did for 8 years. I went through the procedure. But we shouldn't be surprised when we hear about the early sexualization of children being involved with this that's growing to proportions that we never could have imagined happening. But if we think back to how transgenderism started, it was Alfred Kinsey, Harry Benjamin, and John Money. They were pedophile activists. They thought it was totally appropriate for adult men to have sex with young boys.
You know, 6 and 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds shouldn't be turned on to gay cartoons when their mind not even developed yet. You know, what if they like how that cartoon talk? What now you're forcing them to be gay. You know, every TV show is gays that kissing each other. Like it's out of hand, man. And people, I got backlash from the gays. But you know, I speak my mind. Like everywhere you go, they're forcing this gay stuff on. It wasn't like that when I was coming up.
open. He wanted to share his life with me. So in the course of our friendship, we went on a camping trip arranged by him, in which the intent was to achieve intimacy. This was his idea. And in order to further this idea, he arranged that the sleeping bags would be zipped together so that there would be no barrier to the creation of this experience. Now, with appropriate affection and fondling and whatnot, we passed the night, and on awakening in the morning, he positioned himself in such a way that nature would take its course, and he would experience within himself a part of the body of his friend. And so, laying as he did on his side and producing the natural consequence of this event, I may say that this was sufficiently stimulating that no lubricant was required. That is, nature or life simply produced its own for this occasion. He experienced what he wanted to experience, and I certainly on that occasion experienced something that was very precious and fulfilling to me as well.
I'd probably kill him. Honest, I probably would, if he would have bothered my kids. That's why one of the reasons I wanted him away from here, because he wouldn't seek any help to stop this problem that he has. And if he would have got a hold of my kids, it wasn't any good to kill him or 100 of them then. So that's why I was trying to just kind of preventive medicine, you might say, to get him out of town now.
Whenever people start shooting at him with rifles around here, I told him he better get out of here before he got his killing done.
I had, of course, various kinds of threats of death. It seemed that the universe was saying it was time to move on, at least for a while. I'm eager to bring this back another day, another time.
In ancient Greece, it was common for mature men to mentor young boys, teaching them the arts or philosophy, while also engaging in sexual activity with them. Sexual games between students and teachers were said to enhance the bond between them and thus facilitate learning. In Sparta, military tradition dictated that soldiers bring their young boy trainees to practice and battle. A soldier's courage was thought to be strengthened by his desire to defend his young lover and be a role model. Presents were given as rewards to the heroes of Sparta and Thebes. In Sicily, on Mount Eris, in the sanctuary of Aphrodite, boys served as prostitutes in the temples. In Delphi, boys were made to dance in front of Apollo's temple. The Romans, while generally disapproving of homosexuality, considered boys to be sexual beings. Nero, emperor of Rome between 54 and 68 AD, derived so much pleasure from his relationship with Sporos, a 12-year-old boy, that he married him in a public wedding. Following Nero's suicide in 68 AD, Otho inherited the throne as well as the boy. Like the warriors of Sparta and Thebes, samurai warriors traveled and fought with their young apprentices. The young boys would learn the arts of sword fighting, horseback riding, and lovemaking. As late as the 1940s, the Itoro, Sambia, and Kaluli tribes of New Guinea practiced sex with children as a part of the traditional coming-of-age ceremony. Tribal elders were required to insert their semen into the youth's body. Semen was considered more potent than mother's milk and believed to enhance masculinity.
God calls homosexuality and lesbianism a horrible sin, but he wants to save you.
I can say that apropos of the occasion, it has many fond memories associated with it, in which boys have gotten to know the car and gotten to know me. We're happy to be here. We feel that historically we are part of this movement for liberation.
Sensuality is the key. And unfortunately, I think that, well, being a survivor of sexual abuse, there's really kind of a thin line with power dynamics with older and younger people, but that doesn't mean that, you know, at age 5 I couldn't have made my own decision, or whatever, 12. I, Stormy Waltz, do pledge that it is okay for me to be on TV talking about what I didn't know.
If anybody looks at them and looks at us, then they'd have to say, well, it's all part of the rainbow, all part of the possibility of people living peacefully together, and that's what we're looking for.
But you understand that there isn't, that us or anybody else who's in this entire march today wants to have anything to do with those people back there.
We're not with those. We're not with those people. We're not with those. We don't want to be connected. We don't want to be. We don't want to be associated. I'm an incest survivor.
What do you think about it?
These people are unfortunately borderline criminal behavior, and it's not representative of all of our community. They shouldn't be with us. They should be doing their own thing.
Everyone needs freedom of speech and freedom to be. As long as they don't act on what they believe, and that is to have sex with children, then they have a right to be here.
Okay, so what would you do about this, man?
What would I do about it? I think the best thing to do about it is just to watch you guys very carefully and ignore the fact that you have issues, because children are not yours.
So children are their own, are they
Children
not?
are their own, and they don't belong to you, and you don't need to have a campaign to get them.
Business comes first. Yeah. They think there's a buck out there.
They don't seem to understand that there's more bucks with straight people, more bucks in a straight person's pocket than there are gays, but just by the numbers. Okay.
Right now, I think we're at the very turning point. The homosexual revolution has gone to its peak, and now it's starting to take the curve down. They realize the importance of NAMBLA to their cause, because they're all dying of AIDS. They don't reproduce children, so they are forced to recruit children. And the best way of recruiting children is to have them broken in, as it were, by child molesters.
I don't know about you. That's pretty outrageous. But when I was growing up, if there was any adult, talking to a young child about having sex with him, that person wouldn't be in the neighborhood anymore. Right.
I think that children should be treated in a different way in this society. I think that children are human beings that need respect, love, and recognition. And I think they should be able to develop the way which you want to develop as a human being, as their essence should develop, okay, be developed. How do I make myself attractive to boys? Okay, I answered it by being yourself. You don't have to make yourself attractive to boys. You are just what you are, and boys react to you as another person would, and it's personal. It's nothing to do with age. It's nothing to do with you being attractive, trying to be attractive. Where are the boys? Boys are everywhere. You don't have. There's not one single place. There's the mall, the supermarket, the street, the sports event. You just have to be friends with boys. You don't have to think about sex. Even just think about friendship, okay? If sex will come, fine. If it doesn't will come, then you remain friend, okay?
Renato is an Italian teacher. On his free time, he likes to paint.
In my life, I've never been arrested, trialed, or even indicted for any kind of crime. Not only sexual, but even parking, or parking the car. I've never been in any trouble with the law. And these slanderous things that I found home when I came home, I found it. And I'm not a child molester. I've never been a child molester. I will never be a child molester. And I'm against child molester, okay, because I'm a child lover, a boy lover, okay? And then we love and molestation don't go together. I wish boys well things, good things, not horrors and not violence and not ugly things like such as this.
See, my attitude is, I saw them as very pathetic, very sad when they came out of their meeting June 6th. And we have photos of them, and they were shamed. There were about 75 of us marching behind them, yelling out, baby rapers, and all the windows were lifting up, and they were passing by a schoolyard, which is a typical scene where they like to pick up children, and their heads were down, and they knew they got caught. They knew they were doing wrong, okay? I felt no anger for these people. I felt sad for these sick people. But, on the other hand, if ever I caught any of them in the act, if I was just, let's say, fortunate enough, I would take no prisoners. And that's a promise.
Ronaldo, come on out! Show your faces, the neighborhood wants to meet you. We're gonna have a block party. Come on out, baby raper! Ronaldo, come on out!
It's like to ask to an heterosexual man, what does he find attractive in a woman? Or it's like saying somebody, I like shortcake, strawberry shortcake. Why do you like a strawberry shortcake instead of an apple pie? It's very difficult. I don't know. I would try to by saying that the freshness of their mind, the nimbleness of their bodies, the way in which they move, they act, the gracefulness of them.
My soul spirit being freed, because adults are so, they have to stay within their little norm and perfectness, and they never can show their enthusiasm for life. So I like to get out whenever I can and show my enthusiasm for life. I don't really want to go over to the playground, because a lot of people there, a lot of mothers, all they need is one reason to say that if I touch this, if I don't even touch a kid, they could say that I touched this kid, and then I go to jail, I get arrested. So it's like, pure bullshit. I don't want to be around kids at all. That's the way it has to be.
I'm a happy boy. He's probably thinking about the erection that I'm getting right now. But it's he's not thinking about it, but he knows that it's going on, or maybe he's getting one. I don't know, something like that.
Chuck is an artist. He feels there needs to be an alternative to NAMBLA's methods of doing things.
What does that look like down there?
Where?
Is this an illegal drawing or what? Oh my God. I'm drawing an illegal drawing. Oh no. Take a good close look there now. What is that down there? Oh my God. The horrid genitals. But they have a personality.
I'd like to be able to have an orgy with young dudes and teenage guys and maybe older men with big beards and big hairy chests. Maybe they'll find it today or tomorrow, or maybe they'll find it 10 years from now. And maybe some of the people might even be interested in having a discussion, because a lot of the stuff is going to have my address on it.
Footprints, footprints. I spy them there. I see them here, taking interest in those smallish, those I step in with care. Those smallish ones, the tracks of boys. Those footprints, like painted fingerprints. I step in, enjoy! Each time stepping, almost touch. Each time stepping, such footprints, footprints. Ah, such footprints. I'm glad there still is something we far away can adore.
Thanks, excuse me, sir. Can I give this to you by chance? It's towards a further dialogue. You can read about what it's about. Check it out, man. Yeah. They give a nice smile, don't they, right now? As soon as they find out what it is, and they go, oh, wait a minute, what is this crap?
They don't like adults to mess with kids.
Right,
on
right.
anything.
They don't think that kids can be consent, but in this society, you'll notice in this society that there's woman-boy love movies all over the place, and I can tell you a whole bunch of them if you ever heard Blame It on Rio.
Yeah, but grown-ups should leave kids alone and let them grow up and then decide.
Well, if you want to let kids be kids, then we should allow genuine, see, age is an abstract for one, and so is childhood, so it's all been constructed by society. Go for it. I love to just be with people and share life with people, and sexuality comes along as that comes along, but with kids it doesn't come along in this country. I'll never break the sex hysteria laws, because I will fight. I want to fight and stand up to the hysteria, and do what I can in my life. If my life is short, I still want to be able to stand up and do what I feel is in my heart to do.
Why isn't the manhood among the women on a lot of the society? I wonder. WNBC about NAMBLA now, they got
an organization that advocates the sexual molestation of young boys. John Miller's here with details.
From this nondescript building, NAMBLA runs its listed telephone number and some of its mailings. On a Saturday in November, we watched as boxes and boxes of literature were loaded in.
The audience were calling, and in the majority they actually were supportive. And some of them were also kids, 4 or 5 different kids, for 14, 15, 16 years of age, call in and express themselves. I didn't know at the beginning, I didn't know they were that young, but they expressed themselves with a way of saying that young people has, like, cool man, things like that. And we were talking with the kids, and I would ask the age. I said, I'm 14. Okay, good. And I think you are great. I think I like you. I like you. The show. And keep up, man. Keep up. Don't let them scare you.
Belief is everyone should have a belief worth dying for. If you don't have a belief worth dying for, then you don't believe in anything. And as far as I'm concerned, you're a coward, and I don't want you around me. And I really feel that most parents without hesitation will fight and die for their children. And when push comes to shove, homosexuality get tired of it, there'll be no incentive for someone else's children.
I just want to be able to walk down Fifth Avenue, okay, and see adults and children mingle together and go into a theater, go to a restaurant. I like to see children like they do in Egypt or another country.
People want to think of every pedophile as being like a Jeffrey Dahmer or John Wayne Gacy, and we're not. I mean, those are a few sick individuals that you see, on television, on the news, or whatever. But I mean, there's far less of them than there are, guys that are out there, hurting women.
I'm sort of a borderline egomaniac, you might say. I've done a lot of things in my life. I was able to maintain myself pretty well up until about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. And then I got into some problems and wasn't able to do what I had been doing. Basically what I was doing was a visually oriented activity. I don't even know if I should say. But basically I was doing something that I really, really did not want to be doing, which was looking at people through their windows. And
what do you say to people who would join because they want to meet boys?
Let's see. Can we go off camera here for a second?
Hold on, folks. You better buckle your seatbelt. If anybody is watching this film and they think to themselves that they have control of things because currently sex is suppressed and held to be dark and dreary and worthy of being suppressed, sorry, your day is over. You might not understand it, but I can tell you it's over, and the signs are present here and now. What's happened is that this sexophobia, this negativity, this hysteria, this witch hunt dealing with young people expressing their sexuality has been tightened down. It has been screwed so tightly that I can tell you something, young people, it's about to break. And when it breaks, it's going to break suddenly. Years have been involved.
Mothers and fathers, don't you give up on your children. Some of y'all got some children that are living the gay life right now. You didn't raise them to be gay, but you got a son, now he's gay. You didn't raise her to be gay, now you got a daughter that's gay. Let me help the church, because the church needs help today. Do not abandon your gay children just because you're a Christian.
So if we can look into their thinking, we shouldn't be surprised at what we're seeing today. And this is what has transpired. These are the consequences of allowing this travesty and this ridiculous thing to start the way it has. And let me tell you, affirming children into a cross-gender identity is child abuse. Let's be honest. It's not physical abuse, but it's psychological abuse. it's emotional abuse, and it's sexual abuse. We cannot kid ourselves any longer, and our children are being destroyed. I, myself, was cross-dressed at the age of 4, 1944, 74 years ago. And as a result of that, I became gender distressed, to the point to where I underwent gender reassignment surgery after struggling because of being cross-dressed in a purple dress at the age of 4. We cannot ignore how devastating it is to young people to cross-dress them and affirm them. Do not kid yourselves. I'm here as a witness to this, that I'm still today stand before you with a mutilated body and a life that was destroyed in many ways, redeemed by Christ, certainly, but destroyed because I was affirmed and told how cute I looked, how wonderful it was, and went to a gender therapist who said, all you need to do is have hormones and reassignment surgery. That was in 1981. I underwent the surgery in 1983 because they said, this is the treatment for gender confusion. Wrong. It's destructive. It's not treatment. It's further abuse. This is the physical abuse, cutting off body parts and filling someone with hormones is one of the most destructive things you can do. And it's not repairable. There's things that cannot be restored. I'm here as a witness to tell you we have to stop.
George, tell us, why is this onslaught from the LGBTQ community occurring in our culture at this time? It seems they've gone from fighting for societal tolerance to indoctrination, demanding that our culture embrace a minority lifestyle.
I think it's going to continue to get worse. I knew when they opened the floodgates, it's never going to be enough really until we look at the bigger picture of what the agenda is really about. And that is silencing Christians and all opposition to this agenda and anything that is pro-family, pro-Christian, pro-life, pro-America. It's just an agenda that's going to keep going until they can silence everyone.
Society, we shouldn't normalize a family structure that requires children to lose one or both parents to be in that household.
Now, trying to sway the US Supreme Court to rule against gay marriage, you wrote to Justice Anthony Kennedy before that vote, and you said, you used to say, I'm happy my parents got divorced so I could get to know all you wonderful women. Now you seem to be saying that was all a lie. Statistically, nothing to do with you, the mother, the environment, nothing. No, strictly statistics, right? Hold on, let's look at the percentage. What percentage of the world is gay?
I think one of my daughters already gonna be bi or something. I think one of my daughters like girls already, so I kind of like, I'm starting to see, like, it's certain character traits that I see.
3.5%. So you can say 4% of the population. So, I mean, with 5 kids, 20% each, it may happen, it may not happen, but it could happen. With 20%, with 4%, you have about a 1 in 5 chance, essentially, that one of your kids might be gay.
I'm actually certain one of them is going to be gay one day. Like,
okay.
I can just see it already. Like, I'm looking at these characters. Like, I can look at I think my nephew might be gay one day. Like, you know what I mean? I can look at certain character traits, and I'm just looking at the kids now. But then
God has an incredible heart for the orphan, and that he's very concerned with the plight of children. And that lines up very much with where we need to go in this discussion, which is focusing on the rights of children primarily, as opposed to emphasizing the desires of adults, which tend to take center stage when we're talking about this issue.
Now, after your parents divorced, because you originally had a father and a mother, they divorced. Your father, you say, went off with other women. Why have you focused your main criticism on the homosexual part of the equation and not your father?
Well, I think that I'm pretty fair in my statements to say that whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, children have rights.
At the same time, it's like it's an agenda. I don't know, I hate to say, like, people like, oh, it's an agenda. But it seems that like you can't even watch a kid's show without it focus. Like, when I was a kid growing up, cartoons never focused on sexuality. It wasn't about sexuality.
Yeah,
I'm
personally not a fan of actually bringing sexuality up when it comes to children.
Right?
Period.
Like, we're watching Nickelodeon, and it's
even heterosexual things. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there shouldn't be any kissing or
none of that.
Any type of
when it comes to just a kid's show, a kid should just be a kid.
But now we have that though. Like we have guys kissing on cartoons.
You have
like,
gay cartoons now.
You have gay cartoons. You have like, it's just crazy. Like, and it's just like.
And adults, the onus needs to be on adults to conform to the rights of children rather than children fitting into an adult's lifestyle. And certainly, I don't think that homosexuals are responsible by any means for the crisis that we face in America when it comes to family structure these days. Absolutely, heterosexuals have led the way on that charge. I got into this discussion primarily because what I heard from the gay lobby was that children don't care who's raising them, right? That children are just fine if it's 2 men or 2 women. And the reality is that anybody that's talked to a child who has lost a parent, whether through divorce, abandonment, third-party reproduction, or death, kids absolutely care. Family structure matters to children. And so I heard the LGBT lobby saying it doesn't care, they don't care, and I don't think that that's reality.
Okay, you also were motivated politically once President Obama announced his support for same-sex marriage, and you set up an anonymous blog called Ask the Bigot. Why did you do that? What did you call it that to start with, and what happened when you did it?
Yes. Well, you know, strangely, the URL wasn't taken for that web name. Not sure why, but it was kind of born in an angry moment. I'm not really a confrontational person, but what happened when Obama evolved?
The Ninja Turtles wasn't kissing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that, man. The Flintstones wasn't. They didn't have 2 men on the Flintstones kissing. You know, the Jetsons wasn't kissing. You know, everywhere you go, they're trying to do that, and they're doing it for monetary gain. They're not doing it because they love the gays or they got love for the gays. They're doing it for monetary gain, man, and they're doing it to bring another avenue in to make money off these people.
To me, it felt like media was free to play the bigot card. So now everybody that doesn't support gay marriage is a bigot, right? Because either you're isolated and you don't know any gay people, or you're indoctrinated, or you're homophobic, or you're the equivalent of a racist. And they were not giving any attention to people that had a genuine argument, a well-founded, secular, convincing argument for support of traditional marriage. And so I started blogging anonymously.
I was going to make that point. You started blogging anonymously. What happened? Why did you go public, as it were?
I didn't. I was outed by a gay blogger who felt like I needed to be held accountable for my stance. And the truth is that I would not have filed a brief with the Supreme Court. I wouldn't be having this interview with you today because I never intended to be involved in the legal fight. But because I was outed in the name of love and tolerance, I am talking with you today.
Okay, so just going to that Supreme Court decision. In June, Justice Kennedy authored, the same man you wrote to, authored the Supreme Court's decision in favour of same-sex marriage. He began in agreement with you, saying that no union is more profound than marriage. But he said of the gay people who had petitioned the court, it would be to misunderstand these men and women, to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they respect it so much, respect it so deeply, that they seek to find its fulfilment for themselves. And now, obviously, the court agreed that their dignity was the critical thing here. Why do you disagree with that position?
Well, because they have dignity. Right? Single parents have dignity. People that have never been married have dignity. You don't gain dignity by a government bestowing that on you. You just have it. The question is not whether or not they have dignity, and the question is not even really whether or not they have the capacity to love and commit the way heterosexuals do. They do. They absolutely do. The question is, what is government's interest in marriage? It's really not about affirming the connections that we have with one another. It has to do with the product of those unions. And there's something distinct about the product of a union between heterosexuals. What's distinct is that they make babies, and those babies have rights, and those babies deserve protection.
Stop this nonsense. And further, fortunately, I looked into the stacks of the books when I was studying psychology at UC Santa Cruz and discovered that people who identify with gender identity disorder also have disorders like body dysmorphia. They have autogynephilia, transvestic fetishes. They have other psychological issues that cause them to behave as a transgender. They're not born transgender. That adults are perpetrating on our young people today, and our schools are complicit in this. Schools have become the activist indoctrination location for children. And fortunately, my life was redeemed and restored, and my website, Sex Change Regret, we've had the opportunity to reach out to people around the world, and we continue to help people every single day. We get emails from people, Walt, 6 days after surgery, I regret this. Can you help me? Can you get my life back? 3 weeks after surgery, 6 years after surgery, all the way up to 2 people 30 years after reassignment surgery. It took me 15 years, Walt, to admit that I regret this. Can you help me? People today, in the hundreds, in the thousands, regret having been caught up in this madness. And thankfully, we're able to help them. And I plead with you to listen to the doctors and these messages today. There is nothing more important than a stable foundation of a country is the family. And this is an issue that's ripping families apart and tearing lives apart. We have to understand that a sound country, society, is built on families. And ripping them apart with this ideology is also destroying our families, and we see it every day in our schools. Thank you.
You know, if somebody wants to be gay, let them be their choice. But don't force it on the child, man. Don't force it on nobody, man. If they want to be gay, that's cool. I don't hate gay people at all, you know. I know plenty gay people. But don't force it on them to be gay, man. Don't do that. Dude, I just feel like that's wrong. I came home and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Woods, pretty face, but I'm known for hitting drugs. Yeah. Got him like, too good. To the yard, he ain't never leave this pretty on God. Broke, too good. Real boss, nigga, got the Woods, pretty face, but I'm known for hitting drugs. Yeah. Got him like, too good. To the yard, he ain't never leave this pretty on God. Broke, too good. Real boss, nigga, got the good. Real boss, nigga, got